Okay, so right here I have some very sample examples of the render, which is include our reflection. We have it glass bulb, which is have our refractions. We have a texture mapping to this ball. We have a rock with displacement and some textures applied, so it will be anti-aliasing applied to this. We have it luminous glowing. The motion object applied, it was with velocity moving through, so we have motion blur to this. Some shadows, reflection. We also have the plan, which is have some alpha maps applied to the leaves. So in this case, when we look on this image to analyze or see what other ones use it, we can go over properties available. So currently we look on the color version. We can always switch to alpha map, and notice right here you see the cut. This is infinity plane was include. If infinity plane wasn't included, we'll see just a plane and nothing, no bottom area. So in some case you want those to isolate your object when you work with Photoshop. So if you do, be sure you kind of click and enable options to remove infinity planes from alpha masking. Okay, next we have a Z depth, which is change color, white for where the black is closest. So this way, if you don't want to use a depth of field, you can apply in post-production by using Z map. Okay, next we have options. We click right on this arrow. It will give it us G buffer option or diagnostic. So let's go first look on diagnostic. It's come up first, and we'll go check render time. So in render time, okay, let's switch to actually right here, diagnostic render time. Okay, in a render time, you will see if any render applied, and in some cases it's kind of will be look where's most render is spent, but currently this was a little bit faster, so we'll go to anti-aliasing simples, and it's no information also was applied, but it was anti-aliasing textures. What we look, so for example, texture anti-aliasing samples, we can see where it was taking mostly, and right here one thing is showing me how much power was using for this or cycles. And you notice this is a rock, and we have it some on the texture anti-aliasing applied, which is okay, but right here brighter, so it means it's more was utilized and around plants. And here's we'll have it kind of problem. If we start using soft shadows, you'll see dramatically increase in the time render around the plants and alpha transparency. So let me go run as example so we can compare. I'm going to take our sunlight. We'll just increase shadows, so we'll go take soft shadows. Okay, I will just increase slightly, so not too much. Okay, we'll go to render, and I'm going to pause right now till render is complete. Okay, so right here render completed with the soft shadows, and we can compare on where it's taken time. So again, we'll go to select, okay, our options from the G buffer, texture anti-aliasing. So let's go down to the global illumination so we can preview this one. Okay, we'll go to ray tracing depth, and you notice right here red take most time, and it's of course it's a sideways. We have it object from the glass, and right here another reflection when it's going back and forward, so it's where higher lot of power take. Again, we can compare to the soft shadow, so it's almost no change. Right here was applied. If you're using any water liquid, you'll see a lot of time will take on when you start rendering with a ray tracing depth on this. So let's go to sub rays. You'll notice right here we also have it on edge, or where's the refraction happen. Okay, again, you notice soft shadows do eliminate some of this a little bit faster render in this case. Okay, let's go to enable shadow ray. Okay, same things. We have it in some cases a little bit less time was taking, but overall, if you notice with soft shadows, now we start having more time going right with alpha transparency was applied. So it's take quite a bit of time, and it's not that bad in a single tree, but when we have it multiple, it will take a long time. Okay, let's go check on a number of the rays. Again, we can see right here where the mostly rays was using because they're bouncing from. And you can adjust this when we go in ray proper. We can adjust how many we want to do it. Also, some of these rays will affect have it limitations. So if you have it fog or volumetric materials, you'll see the difference on the processing because there will be take more of them and longer. So in incoming elements, we don't have it any of this right here. So overall, and let's process like render time example. Sometimes buffer will be cleaning. So for example, on this image, the buffer wasn't safe, and we can see right here where it's take most render time. You can see where we have the fog, a little bit a haze on the horizon was mostly, and going with the tree and transparency. So right here take most time render time for us. So if I want optimize, I'll pay more attention to reduce or maybe some rework these areas to so it can render a little bit faster in this. Okay, this is our diagnostic. Okay, next we have it also G buffer, where we have it Z depth of our image. Again, remember this is will save a separate file, and if you have it animations, will pass there. Overall, we just want preview, so we have it based by material ID. It will help application to isolate it, and they isolated by values of the color, so we can isolate each, asking for each object. Okay, let's go next. G buffer. We'll go to layers ID, and you notice I have it specifically 5 layers, so we have it color separations on each layer as well. We have it UV coordinates if applied to any texture. For example, on the plant, right here with the trees, with the leaves or trunk, it was applied UV mapping. So in this case, we have it the information passing. The other object which is native to the view using or some other materials, they do not have it any UV mapping, so it's not relevant to them. Okay, normal vectors can apply it. Okay, non-clamped colors, which is will be in this case similar to the color. We have it sub-pixel coverage, and you notice right here we have it more blur. That's when more information was posting. Okay, and also we have transparency. Currently vector velocity won't be there because we don't have it animation as we don't save as animation, and we also have some other additional properties. So on the multipath, you notice some options not here because they wasn't selected when it was rendered. However, we have here post-processing. Okay, and in some cases multipath, we're going to different. I think right here I overrided some effects, so you won't see them because we have it override by the other file. Overall, we can see we have it materials colors if we need just separate, which does not have it any shadows or a Z, so we have it alpha mask applied. And we have it also shadows applied to our object. So you can save a multiple formats. And again, this is a preview window what I'm using. When you save, be sure you save a separate file. In this case, it won't have it any override. Or if I'm going to clear up cache or render, this is maybe affect as well each other. But overall, I found out diagnostic it's most useful for me when I render. And before I'm going to render on large scale, I want to see where does the most affected, where I have it most time, like right this area where I kind of use it or other options. So it's helped me to optimize some of my scenery. Okay, we will have it project-based tutorials where we actually will use it some of the multipath elements for our compositing inside the Photoshop. So for now, it's just know that you select a new render and you can preview them from your overall render. But again, be sure if you want to save it, you can go inside and modify what you want to save it, if you want to save it to the disk, and what layers or other options you have.